President Biden sent a powerful message to the American people and to the United States military before Donald Trump's inauguration. To the American people, stay strong and remember what we built together. To the American military, you are the strongest fighting force in the world, but also remember your oath. This stands in stark contrast to the messages coming from Donald Trump over the past 48 hours. Let's go over what went down. So first, let me start with President Biden. First, his message to the American people generally. He talks about his accomplishments. For example, the Inflation Reduction Act, one of the benefits, it allowed Medicare to negotiate with pharmaceutical companies to lower the price of prescription drugs, a $2,000 cap on all prescription drug prices, and then targeting specific drugs to negotiate lower prices. President Biden wanted to expand that program outside of Medicare as well, just to people on the Affordable Care Act and generally. Republicans blocked it. President Biden talks about how he's happy with the Inflation Reduction Act, what it delivered, and there are now 15 new drugs for Medicare drug price negotiation, in addition to the prior 10. You see that right there. President Biden also talks about the PACT Act being the most significant law in 30 years to help veterans exposed to toxic substances during their service. It helps fulfill our sacred obligation to care for those who fought to protect our freedom and their families. I'm so proud to have signed it into law. President Biden also posting, since day one, I've worked to make real the promises of America for everyone. I'm proud to have taken bold action to narrow the racial wealth gap, invest in left behind communities, expand access to the ballot, and reform our justice system. And here was a big one on Friday. President Biden announced that he's affirming what I have long believed and what 3/4 of the states have ratified. The 28th Amendment is the law of the land, guaranteeing all Americans equal rights and protections under the law, regardless of their sex. That's the Equal Rights Amendment, now being the law of the land, at least recognized by President Biden. Now, Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans will say there should not be an Equal Rights Amendment. But as President Biden said, I supported the Equal Rights Amendment for more than 50 years and have long been clear that no one should be discriminated against based on their sex. We must affirm and protect women's full equality once and for all. And now the Republicans and Trump are going to say, do not publish that, archivist. We're not agreeing that women are equal. So a nice little trap set there by President Biden. So that's what President Biden's talking about. What's Donald Trump talking about? WMD, weapon of mass distraction, things like this. We demand that the FBI preserve and retain all records, documents, and information on the now closing DEI office. Never should have been opened, and if it was, should have closed long ago. What does it even mean? And if it was, what are you even talking about? What's the DEI office? Just some made up fairy tale to try to distract Americans the same way you want us to get mad at some transgender women volleyball player in San Jose State, versus focus on the fact that you're not having peace in Ukraine on day one. Prices are not lower on day one. Housing is not more affordable on day one. And your policies are actually going to cause prices and everything to increase. So let's not fall for the distraction, folks. Donald Trump reposting Rudy Giuliani. I mean, this literally looks like a 5150 involuntary psych hold patient wrote this. The plus consequences of plus political persecution will keep. I mean, what am I even reading here? I mean, look at this. Again, it's like, I'm not going to read it. It's like a crazy person. Then Donald Trump bragging about how some Republican state governors are ordering the flags up for inauguration. I mean, the guy who's like, we got to respect the flag code. Okay, well, Jimmy Carter died. The flag's supposed to not be at full staff. It's supposed to be at half. But okay, I mean, you want to violate it. Now you're just going to brag about it. You want us to, again, get so angry over it. It's just like, can you talk about things of substance? No, you want to brag about your relationship with Xi Jinping instead of calling out Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela for threatening to invade Puerto Rico. And then, of course, Trump's large-scale mass deportations. He's going to try to start them, according to the Wall Street Journal, in Chicago on Tuesday by sending troops, forces, ICE agents to break into Chicago and just start taking people over. And then you're going to arrest the mayor of Chicago. And then Donald Trump, of course, posted that it's too cold for him to do the inauguration outside. Just too cold. He needs to do it inside. JFK did it outside when it was much colder. And by the way, a lot of Trump supporters who flew in were like, yeah, it's cold, but like, let's do it outside. Trump was horribly nervous that the crowd size was going to be teeny tiny, major shrinkage. Going back to President Biden, though, for a second, here's what I said President Biden's farewell speech to the military was, where he says, remember your oath, no matter what. Remember your oath. Here, play this clip.
Let me close with a final request. I say it not as your president or commander-in-chief. I say it as a man who spent 50 years of his life serving his country in a different way. Remember your oath. My son, Major Beau Biden, used to call it home base. That's a set of principles of values that give you light in darkness, that guide you. It's true to the military. It's the best weapons, the best training in the world. We have the most cutting-edge ships, planes, and subs. We have the smartest, most well-trained force on earth. That's all critical. But that alone is not what makes us strong. This is not what brought Washington, this band of brothers together all those years ago.
And then finally, President Biden posts this. You'll never see Trump post anything like this. Trump posted that weird photo of himself. I'm not even going to show it to you, of his mugshot presidential photo with the eyes. Oh, strange. And by the way, whoever took that shot and the one of JD Vance, like, clearly hates them. It's like the worst photos ever. Anyway, President Biden posts, I met Sabine on the road back in 2022. She shared a heartfelt haiku with me, a reminder of the strength we find when we stand together, regardless of our differences. Sabine, I hope I've made you proud. Here, watch this.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
What's your name?
I'm Sabine Klaus.
Sabine, nice to meet you.
I wrote this poem to you a couple years ago during your inauguration, and it was inspired by Amanda Gorman's speech. It's a haiku, so it follows a 575 syllable format. The stream may part ways, the leaves all sway uniquely, we stand together. So it's about standing together, even though we have differences.
Can I take a look at it?
Yeah.
This is lovely.
Thank you.
You got to come to the White House and you'll see it framed on my wall. For real. Thank you.
Thank you.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 500,000 followers.